Coming of Age is coming up next. I'm your host, Josh Newby. We are continuing our coverage of COVID-19 with both advice and activities that you can implement from home. From crafting and exercise to some coping mechanisms, we've got you covered for another month of quasi-quarantine. So stay tuned. Coming of Age starts right now. As we age, staying active in life and involved in the community can become a challenge. But with Council on Aging of West Florida's range of home-based services, you remain healthy, independent, and engaged. From Meals on Wheels and respite care to senior dining sites and the retreat, you'll feel empowered to regain your freedom while retaining what makes you, you. We've been in the community for nearly 50 years, advocating for elders and supporting those who care for our parents and grandparents. We were there when your father's health began declining, when your mother needed companionship during the day. And guess what? We'll be there down the road when you need those services too. Now, join with us as we talk together about the aging issues that matter to you. The steps we're taking to prevent the spread of COVID-19 help decrease our risk for contracting the virus. But the upheaval to our usual social interactions can and does have an impact on our mental health. Psychologist Dr. David Josephs serves as clinical director of Lakeview Center, an affiliate of Baptist Healthcare. Dr. Josephs is with us today to discuss how to cope with the stress of the extensive changes we have had to make to our way of life. He joins us now from Zoom. Dr. Josephs, thank you for coming on today.
My pleasure, Joe. Thanks for having me.
So, how have you seen this social distancing affect people? Does it affect people in a different way?
It affects people differently, but the thing that's probably affecting us in a similar way is human beings thrive on social contact. We're social beings, and particularly here in the South, we like to gather, we like to talk, we like to socialize. And the ways we have done that have been dramatically shifted. Not stopped, but shifted because of the virus. And so it has had a real impact on how we interact with one another.
Okay. Now, how can and should people deal with the uncertainty surrounding our life right now? Uncertainty is a scary thing.
I think the most important thing I'd suggest to folks about dealing with uncertainty is that if people are like me, we've been around for a while. This is not the first time in our lives that we've dealt with uncertainty, and probably dealt quite successfully with uncertainty. So for many folks, we have actual skills to deal with the uncertainty, but it would probably mean relying on some of the strategies that we used in the past. Certainly the Pensacola in our area with our various issues with the oil spill and hurricanes, we've had dramatic periods of uncertainty, and through coming together as a community and some of our own resiliency as a community, we've dealt with that, I think, pretty successfully.
What are some ways, maybe some tangible ways that people can deal with the stress they're experiencing right now?
Some tangible ways are make sure that we have some healthy habits in place, eating properly, sleeping properly. We have an opportunity now to maybe do some exercise, walking, things that we hadn't done before. We're with our children and our spouses. Maybe it's some time to some things that we've always wanted to do with our kids. Now is a time and an opportunity to do that. So I would think some of the healthy habits that we've historically had that may have fallen by the wayside because we didn't have time, well, now would be a great time to resurrect those habits and maybe keep them in place.
Gotcha. Now, for a lot of people, the emotion that they're feeling may be, beyond their capacity to deal with it oftentimes. What can our viewers do if they feel that they just need help, or maybe they know someone who just needs some sort of external help managing that emotional component?
It's a good point, Josh. I think the most important thing with that is acknowledge that we need help. Many times, and this is, I think, maybe even more true sometimes for men, we don't like to reach out. And sometimes true for people who are accustomed to having all the answers. So the first thing is to validate the reality that we need help. Validate the reality that we are stressed. It would be very unusual for most of us, me included, going through what we're currently going through to not be stressed.
Right.
It would be the expected state. So reaching out to families and friends, and it might mean through electronic media, ways that we hadn't practiced in the past.
Right. Talk about some of the local resources, especially if someone just needs someone to talk to, maybe before they reach that crisis point.
So local resources, I would encourage people to remember the connections that they have already, which are immediate and trusted to many folks, including their churches and their ministries, right? I'd certainly make sure that you reach, if you're in a church community, make sure you're connected there. Lakeview Center, of course, has been a part of the community for decades. Lakeview Center now is probably easier to get to than in the past because of many of the things that we've moved to. And this is true of all the behavioral health and mental health providers using telehealth and telemed platforms. We also have our mobile response teams who are out in the community for Lakeview Center. You can get them by contacting by telehealth or by their telephone number.
Excellent. Dr. Joseph, this is great information, very timely. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, my pleasure, Josh. Thanks for having me again.
Up next, we'll review some at-home exercises you can do with our friends from Humana. Stay with us.
Why do people love ACT's retirement life communities? There are more reasons than just the active lifestyle. Like ACT's Life Care, a plan that protects your nest egg with predictable monthly fees, even if your healthcare needs increase. So you can enjoy a carefree today and a worry-free tomorrow. Plan a visit and see why our satisfaction rating with current residents stands at 98%. ACT's Retirement Life Communities, where loving kindness lives.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
It's a great place to raise a family.
Strength, fuerza. When I look back where we've come from to where we are today, it makes my heart very happy.
Potential. Potencia.
For me, this house means all of us together.
Sorry.
Security.
Security.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
All right, good morning, good morning. My name is John Fitzgerald. I'm here with Blake Pablo. We do an exercise class every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. over at the Bayview Community Center. But today, we appreciate Josh and Council on Aging having us over. Our exercise class on Tuesday is designed for seniors. It is designed to improve your muscle strength, your range of motion, and primarily your balance. So today what we want to do is show you 4 easy exercises you can do anywhere, anytime, that will help promote strength in your lower body, improve your balance, and certainly help you prevent falls. Again, I brought Blake with me because he helps me lead the class, and he's also with Island Doctors that promotes that class. Anything you want to say real quick, Blake?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Blake Pablo. I'm the community health advocate for Island Doctors. We practice old school family medicine. It's our goal to take care of as much of your healthcare needs. One doctor, one office, no copay. If you are interested or just need someone to talk to, my number is 850-261-3183. Other than that, I'm ready to exercise. I'm pumped. Are you ready, John?
I'm ready. Let's get
do
going.
this.
All right, so our first exercise, again, we're going to show you 4 in a specific order. And all you need is a chair. That's all you need. No other equipment is required. So let's take a seat. This first exercise is called a chair squat. We're going to stand up, but we're going to do it smartly. So I'm in my chair, and I'm going to show you a side view. We want you to wiggle your rear end toward the edge of the chair. Get your feet about shoulder width apart. Technique, how we do it is very important. So we want to get your weight forward. Get your nose over your toes, press through your heels, come up, my hips come forward. I'm in a nice standing position. I'm nice and tall. Shoulders, hips, and ankles all in the line. Then reverse, sit back down. Make sure your rear end goes in that chair. Chair squat, and repeat at your comfort level. We're not about speed on this. Nice.
We're not?
No, we're not. Definitely not. Go nice and easy. Make sure when you're coming up, you first get that weight forward and up you go. Now I'm going to let Blake continue and point out a couple of things.
Sweet.
This is the most important exercise we do. As you can see on Blake, he's working his quadriceps, these big muscles, top part of his legs. He's also working these glute muscles, here's rear end muscles, keeping them strong. Plus, as he goes from a seated to a standing position, his core muscles, his balance muscles have to become engaged, which helps improve or maintain his balance. Lastly, this is functional. We get up and down every day, hopefully, going from bed to the breakfast table to the car. If you cannot do this basic movement, your mobility is limited and therefore perhaps your quality of life.
Which is a bummer.
Which is a big bummer. Come on up, Blake, and relax. Good job. So chair squats, number 1. Number 2, we recommend the chairs. Again, safety is paramount. So always have a chair in case you feel dizzy or unsteady. After chair squats, we like to work, which works primarily our quadriceps and glutes, we want to work our hamstring, these muscles, back part of your top leg. These are called leg curls. We start nice and straight. Our core, our midsection is always engaged. My feet, my legs are together. I'm nice and straight. Bring one heel up towards your rear end, then put it back down, and then alternate. Nice and easy. All I'm doing is flexing that hamstring. You can actually put your hand on there and feel it tightening up. These hamstrings, because they're behind us, are often neglected so they become weak. This simple exercise can keep them strong. 2 things for a technique. Blake, I'm going to let you keep going.
Sweet.
And turn to your side if you would, sir. From a profile. Blake's knees are almost right beside each other. That's what you want to focus on. Beautiful. Because, keep going, Blake, and turn back around front view. If you let that knee travel forward, it takes the emphasis off that hamstring and puts it on a different muscle. So keep those knees right beside each other. My upper body remains straight. And relax. You all right?
I'm ready.
You look like $1 million.
Thank you, sir.
Next exercise, we're going to march in place. Exactly what it sounds like. Now again, I got my chair here if I need a little stability, or I can put my hands out in free space. Bring a knee up to your chest, put it back down, and alternate. And repeat again at your pace. We're not running in place. What we want to do is focus on contracting or activating that hip flexor. That muscle is responsible for bringing that foot off the ground. It's called ground clearance. One reason seniors trip, they take little baby tiny steps. These muscles become weaker. They're not able to lift their feet up high enough, and they take a spill. So this simple exercise will keep those muscles nice and strong. In addition, just like Blake's demonstrating, as he goes from foot to foot, his core muscles, his balance muscles have to become engaged, helping to maintain or improve his balance. One more, and relax. Breathe, don't forget to breathe, don't forget to breathe.
So we shouldn't hold our breath.
Definitely do not hold your breath.
Oh, okay.
Breathing. Your muscles require oxygen. If you hold your breath, you turn blue, you pass out.
It's a
no
bummer.
good. It's a bummer. Last lower body exercise. These are called hill raises. Again, I'll show you from the side. Blake will show you from the front. My feet start together. I'm nice and straight. Again, my core is engaged. Your core is your midsection. Simply go up on your toes, get those heels off the ground, and back down. Up, pause, and down. Clearly, we're working these calf muscles, those tiny muscles, back part of your leg. They are often neglected because they're small and tiny, but this muscle will keep them strong. This exercise will keep them strong, and they're important because they help get us from point A to point B. Again, we're nice and straight, just like Blake's demonstrating. Sometimes we'll see this. I don't know what that is, but don't do it, all right? And don't bounce. Nice and easy and relax. Good job. If you're doing that correctly, you're going to feel it very, very rapidly. If it becomes too easy, you can hold on to some weights. But Blake, we don't have any weights at home.
We don't.
We don't.
What do we do?
We can use household items, water bottles, pets, milk jugs, bricks, anything that adds a little weight.
Your own grandchildren, maybe not
Yes.
someone else's grandchildren, but your own.
But your own. We're going to show you, so besides the 4 exercises, chair squat, leg curls, marching in place, heel raise, we're going to show you one balance drill, the balance beam.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Want to challenge your balance. So pretend you're on a balance beam. Take your right foot, put it in front of your left foot, heel to toe again like you're on a balance beam, and then engage. Pick out a spot and try and balance on that narrow base of support. That forces your core, your balance muscles to become engaged, helps improve your balance. Now don't be embarrassed to hold on to something. In fact, clearly we encourage that. We don't want you taking a spill. Wobbling is very, very normal and expected. Don't be embarrassed. It takes a while to become deconditioned, so it takes a while to get back in condition. We want you nice and focused and balanced and relax. Clearly you want to do that on both feet, alternate. So again, you can do these anywhere, anytime. We highly recommend it. It will make you stronger and it can increase your balance.
That's correct.
Lastly, we appreciate your time. Again, we appreciate Council of Aging and Josh inviting us for the complete exercise. Feel free to join us on Facebook every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Josh is going to be sharing the link on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Since 1989, TLC Caregivers has been providing the special help people need to stay independent in their own homes. TLC is an employer of choice in the home care market. Our employees are screened with level 2 background screens, drug-free, and have caregiving experience. If you have time, enjoy people, and are interested in joining us, go to tlccaregivers.com to learn more about becoming a TLC caregiver or visit us in Cordova Square.
When cancer tries to take you away from the things that matter most, Baptist Cancer Institute offers caring physicians and the most innovative treatment options. With convenient locations and a wide array of support programs and services, we're here to help you during the most difficult of times. As a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, we're bringing even more innovative cancer care to our community right here at home. When you need cancer care, we'll be there.
Welcome back, everyone. I am so happy to be joined today by my good friend, Kenny Holt. He is from TLC Caregivers, a longtime supporter and friend of Council on Aging. Today, he's going to be doing something that I would never even attempt, to be quite honest with you, which is a craft. He's the master of crafts. Kenny, what do we have going on here today?
Well, thank you, Josh, for the opportunity to come today. And I do want to say we do activities with TLC Caregivers at the retreat, the adult daycare. And we wanted to bring some of those ideas that people could do them at home. And this is a simple one. I think everybody likes plants. Most people like plants. It's a little garden that you can create yourself, and you choose what you want to do with it. We always say be creative, be crafty, and have fun.
Sure.
And that is no different with this project. Hopefully you have some of the items at home. We're going to talk about terrariums and other small plants that you can have at home and create that little Zen garden for you to enjoy at home. The thought began with terrariums because terrariums are standalone, they're low maintenance, you don't even have to water them because they're sealed, and with the light and the heat interchanging with the glass, it creates its own moisture and it creates its own little living environment. But with us being, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but with us being along the beach here, I also wanted to talk about, because we have the most beautiful sand in the world, and you can do basically the same thing. No, it's not a garden, but it is a way to enjoy yourself. You can put sand into a bottle, get you some shells. If you wanted to put something else in it, you can. But these are great little crafts, and quite honestly, I'm going to tell you that my children did this one when they were younger. They're adults now, but they did this one, and I've still held on to it because I love it. It's a beach garden, if you want to say. But you can be creative with the little plants. If you don't want to do a terrarium, you can have the little plants in little containers that are low maintenance as well. Succulents don't require a whole lot of water, and they're just as enjoyable to see. And we're going to make a terrarium today, and part of our plants we're putting in there are succulents. I made this one last night, and I was telling Josh, it's not a traditional terrarium, but it's a partial terrarium because it does have the light and the sun. This one would require some water. Last night when these went in here, those purple flowers had not bloomed. So it's already enjoying
great timing.
Its environment. And as you can see, you can add little things that you like. You can get the little birds. You can get butterflies, put them in there. Anything you like I said, it's yours. Make it yours and enjoy it. I also did this one last night, and it has a smaller hole in the top. So in this case, you would have to have something to be able to reach down inside the terrarium. And what I used was a shish kebab skewer. And it allowed me to push the items in there and rearrange them and arrange them however I wanted to. And so that one's off and running. And that one's going to be in the TLC Caregivers office.
There you go.
So I thought today that we would, and I want to say, you can use any kind of bottle. You can use a mason jar. You can be small. You can be big. It's depending upon what you want to do and also what you have available. I do want to say this, if you're doing this inside your home, you want to clear out a place and have something to make easy cleanup. I think a lot of people use newspaper. I have packing paper, and it makes it easier at the end for cleanup because you can just wad that paper up and throw it in the trash. I've got a little craft tray also that I use. If you're doing it outside, you don't necessarily need to worry about that, but easy cleanup is always a good thing. Candy dishes, anything with a lid can make a great terrarium. I have this little bowl with the lid, and really all you do is you start out with your dirt. If you have potting soil, that may be the greatest way to start because that already has some of the nutrients that a plant would need. If not, go outside and get some. You can find mosses in our area on trees. You can plant some of that in there. And then you just start putting in the plants that you want. You, like I said, be creative. Use what you like. Enjoy the plants that you see. This one, I call it a desert rose. I don't really know what it is really called, but it's kind of a moss that has flowers. And you would just put it right in there, arrange it however you want to. Make sure it's down in the dirt. Get that in there. I like to put stones. Oh, see, that easy cleanup can come in handy. And then I like the hen and biddies or succulents, depending upon what you are used to calling them. And like I said, you do not have to water these. These will create their own environments. And start that watering itself. Occasionally, if you might have something that dies in it, and with the removable lid, that makes it easy to do that. But that is a simple terrarium, and it only takes minutes, but you can enjoy it for years. And the same thing with the smaller succulents, the bottles. So,
are there certain kinds of plants that don't work well in terrariums? Maybe ones that demand more water or anything like that?
I think you would have to be careful and look up those plants.
Okay.
I don't know what would and what wouldn't. If you have a plant that may be susceptible to root rot,
Sure.
with it creating the water in there, that may not be one of your best choices.
Okay.
I did read, and it's interesting you asked that question, I did read about that last night, that succulents are not a good choice for terrariums. However, I've seen them in terrariums. I've seen them in terrariums my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a particular succulent or whatever, but succulents don't require a lot of water, and the terrarium doesn't create a massive amount. It just creates that environment for it. So if you have a particular plant, you know, in the age of Google and internet searches, I would Google that and see if it is something that's appropriate. And you know, if you try it and it doesn't work, remove it and put something else in there.
There you go. And you were telling me before we came on that you know of a gentleman that has had a terrarium for decades, is that right?
I can't tell you what it's called, but the glass, it's a glass globe. It's massive. It's about this big. And it has a cylindrical neck, and it has a cork that goes in it. He planted these plants in it in 1972, and that terrarium is still living today.
It's older than I am.
And it has taken over the inside, but it's absolutely beautiful.
That's impressive. Well, this is a great activity, I think, to do with your loved ones, to do with your friends. Well, I don't know about me. It might be hard for even me. But do it with your loved ones. Do it with your friends. It's a great way to get outside, to work with your hands amongst your loved ones while we are socially distancing. Kenny, thank you. Thank TLC Caregivers so much.
Thank you. And again, be crafty, be creative, and have fun.
There you go. Have fun. And thank you for watching. Until next time, enjoy life. You've earned it.